day and thank you for joining us on BTV Global News at 12. I am Lee Brickman Joanna. Now the news in details. Thousands of people marched across several Croatian cities on Sunday to protest what they describe as a surge in far-right activity following a series of recent extremist incidents. The demonstrations held on 30th November 2025 were organized under the banner United Against Fascism and drew large crowds in Zagreb, Rijeka, Zadar and Pula. The report.
Fascism, there is anti-fascism. Anti-fascism does not exist without fascism. My wish to work on both sides. We are not enemies, we live in the same country, we just have to understand each other much better.
Estimates indicate that about 5,000 people gathered in the capital, while roughly 1,000 joined marches in Rijeka and Pula and several hundreds in Zadar. Protesters say the rallies were a response to a growing number of attacks and provocations targeting ethnic minorities, cultural gatherings, and liberal political groups. They condemned the use of pro-fascist slogans and symbols linked to Croatia's World War II era pro-Nazi puppet regime. A declaration released by organizers stated that national minorities must not be treated as a provocation and rejected what it called attempts to revive a form of patriotism rooted in the darkest episode of our history. One participant chanted, "We are all anti-fascist," and called for stronger protection of democracy, minority rights, and civil freedoms. The protests were triggered by a series of November incidents, including disruptions at ethnic Serb cultural events in Zagreb and Split, harassment at liberal political gatherings, and intimidation of foreign residents. Extremist groups were also reported to be using the WW2-era salute for the Homeland Ready, which is associated with the former pro-Nazi regime. Analyst says the rise in far-right mobilization has coincided with the formation of a new government coalition between the ruling Conservative Party of Prime Minister Andrej Plenković and the far-right party, excluding an ethnic Serb political party from government for the first time in years. Tensions were further heightened earlier in the year following a controversial July concert by nationalist singer Mako Pekovic, known as Thompson, whose performances have included references to disputed wartime symbols. Counter-gatherings were also reported in Rijeka and Zadar, where groups of young men dressed in black and believed to be linked to far-right factions confronted protesters with insults, firecrackers, and red paint. Police recorded minor clashes and at least one arrest. Organizers said the presence of such groups and the increasing visibility of extremist symbols pose a growing threat to Croatia's democratic values and social pluralism. The demonstration reflects widespread concern over what many Croatians see as a re-emergence of fascist-era nostalgia and rising intolerance in the country. Right advocates warn that the escalation of far-right activity risks undermining social cohesion in communities where Croats, Serbs, Roma, and Jews and other groups live side by side. Protest leaders described the marches as a broad civic response against hate speech, historical revisionism, and political extremism. From the global scene, I am Soher Osavegi, reporting for BTV News.
Hondurans went to the poll on Sunday to elect a new president, concluding a tense and closely watched campaign that took an unexpected turn when U.S. President Donald Trump waded into the race with a public endorsement and a promise to pardon former Honduran President Juan Orlando Hernandez. The report.
Trump remarks delivered just days before the vote sent shockwaves through political circles in both countries. His endorsement of one of the leading candidates and his pledge to pardon Hernandez, who has faced drug trafficking-related charges in the United States, were widely viewed as an extraordinary intervention in Honduras' domestic politics. However, many Hondurans said the late-stage comment did little to affect their decisions at the ballot box. Voters interviewed by the Associated Press reported that they had settled on their candidate well before Trump's announcement and saw the U.S. president's statement as noise rather than meaningful guidance. The election comes at a crucial moment for Honduras, a nation grappling with political polarization, persistent corruption concerns, rising living costs, and ongoing ongoing migration pressures. Analyst says the next president will face significant challenges, including restoring public trust in institutions and managing relations with Washington, especially amid heightened U.S. scrutiny of regional governance. Election authorities reported steady turnout throughout the morning and afternoon, with observers from national organizations stationed at polling centers to monitor the process. Early results are expected later Sunday, though officials caution that close margins could delay final tallies. As Honduras cast their ballots, the political futures of both the country and its relations with the United States remains uncertain. The impact of Trump's surprise intervention, whether symbolic or substantial, may become clearer once the votes are fully counted and the new president takes office. Evelyn Isibli reporting for Beetv News.
U.S. authorities says the Afghan immigrant accused of ambushing 2 National Guard members in Washington, D.C. was not radicalized until after arriving in the United States, the report.
The suspect, 29-year-old Ramanullah Lakanwal, entered the U.S. on September 8, 2021 under a humanitarian parole program that brought Afghan nationals, including those who had assisted U.S. force to the country following the withdrawal from Afghanistan. He was granted asylum in April 2025. Prior to resettlement, Lakanwal reportedly worked with a CIA-backed security unit in Afghanistan. According to Department of Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Neum, authorities believe Lakanwal became radicalized while living in the U.S. "We believe he was radicalized since he's been here in the country," Neum said. Investigators are seeking information from his family and contact to determine how and when this radicalization occurred. The shooting, which took place just blocks from the White House, resulted in the deaths of 2 National Guard members. The motive remains unknown and officials have not publicly linked any extremist belief to the attack. In response, the U.S. government has suspended immigration requests from Afghan nationals admitted under the same resettlement program pending a security review. DHS has warned anyone with information related to Lakanwal's contacts will face prosecution. Authorities continue to gather evidence to reconstruct the suspect radicalization and the circumstances leading to the shooting. Evelyn Isibli reporting for Beetv News.
A week after torrential rains and landslides swept across parts of the island of Sumatra, particularly in the provinces of North Sumatra, West Sumatra and Aceh, the National Disaster Agency confirmed that the death toll has reached 442. You're still watching Beetv Global News Updates while we go on a short break. To stay with us.
Hooray! It's another time, another day, and another year to celebrate Edo State Second Lady, Her Excellency, Ambassador Mrs. Kasha Osaiti Idahosa. A hearty congratulations to a woman of valor, a delectable wife, and a home builder, Her Excellency Ambassador Mrs. Kasha Osaiti Idahosa, wife of Edo State Deputy Governor, His Excellency Right Honorable Dennis Idahosa. On this special day, I join millions of Edo women and committee of friends at home and in the diaspora to celebrate you, Your Excellency. You are an amazing woman, a virtuous woman, humble and kind. I celebrate a pillar of support and a beautiful soul. May God bless your day with more love than your heart can hold. May God fill you with His grace now and always. May the Almighty God guide you with more wisdom to support your husband, our amiable Deputy Governor of Edo State. And may you continue to dazzle like the moon every day. I wish you many more years of celebrations. Signed, Chief Ambassador Mrs. Temi Stella Ogbeta, woman leader and special aide to wife of the Deputy Governor of Edo State.
Shiny, oh yeah, keep on clean. Colorado people, Benin people, Edo State people, time don't reach to keep your environment clean. Operation Clean Your Environment, Operation Clean Your Business Places. You will be hotel owner, you will be market owner, you will they work out for street bus driver. Aha, that's the thing waiting for your motto, not to remain for grand. That's the thing waiting for your domot, not to remain for merry-go. Inside gutter. Those one they cause yama yama, it they cause pollution to our environment. Carry that dirty, put down for your waste bin. Motor day we go carry on for your doorstep. Because you better can say cleanliness lead to godliness. Now small yama yama they lead to sickness. You will can they drink pure water or can water. Not to real for grand. If they grab you, I just tell you they go. No time to waste time. This one time don't come for us to join hand with the Urado local government by Honorable Gabriel Dussel, aka Gano, and the Ghost State government. His Excellency Senator Mondo Paolo Akbako rescue to keep environment clean. Because when you keep your environment clean, Papa, you go enjoy good health. Bring you this message from Urado Local Government Council. Let's join hands together to keep Edo clean.
Welcome back, and now to business news. The Naira recorded a stronger performance during the past week as it rose to $1,446.74, marking a 0.69% increase over the previous week figure of $1,456.72, the report.
This strengthening of the Naira followed the sharp volatility of the previous week. For most of the week, the Naira traded below $1,450 as the official window, and as the parallel market, it is slightly by 0.07% to 1,476 Naira per dollar. Also, the governor of the CBN, Olayemi Kadoso, as the 60th annual bankers dinner held in Lagos on Friday, noted that foreign capital inflows reached $20.98 billion in the first 10 months of 2025, a 70% increase over total inflow for 2024 and a 428% surge compared with the $3.9 billion recorded in 2023. ISEC alumni Nigeria, alongside the former executive chairman of the Federal Inland Revenue Service, Ifweko Okaro, has called on businesses, households, and individuals to urgently study Nigeria's new tax laws and invest in skilled tax professionals as the reforms become operational in January 2026. Okaro, in her business lecture at the ISEC Alumni Nigerian National Congress held on Saturday in Lagos, warned that ignorance of the consolidated tax legislation could expose businesses and families to avoidable risk. The former FIRS boss, who is also the Group Chief Executive Officer of CPP Group, said the first step for the general public, particularly the private sector, is to read the laws. Numerous consultations took place during the work of the Presidential Committee led by Taiwo Oyedele, so the tax laws represent, quite frankly, a part of what a lot of people wanted. Fuel scarcity slowed in October as the Dangote Petroleum Refinery supplied only an average of 17.1 million liters per day of the nation's petrol needs, forcing the country to rely heavily on imports despite earlier hopes of self-sufficiency. The federal government, through its Nigerian Midstream and Downstream Petroleum Regulatory Authority, revealed this. The regulator, in its just released October 2025 fact sheet on the state of the midstream and downstream sector, disclosed that the Dangote refinery supplied only 512.4 million liters of petrol in October, far below the 1.5 billion liters required to meet the country's monthly demand. This left imported refined products to fill the gap, contributing an average of 27.6 million liters daily. Reports obtained show that marketers had to import a total of 828 million liters of petrol during the months to meet the national daily supply requirement of 50 million liters. It also showed that national petroleum consumption rose to 56.74 million liters per day, indicating a sustained increase in demand despite efforts to promote greater domestic production. Favor Kolawole reporting for Beetv News.
And lastly, on sports news, The Nigeria Aquatics Federation has commended the National Sports Commission for its decision to construct Olympic standard swimming pools for the next 3 hosts of the National Sports Festival, describing the move as a landmark step for the development of aquatic in Nigeria. NACWAVE President Donko Chamberlain praised the NSC, noting that the new facilities, beginning with Enugu and followed by Bayelsa and other future host states, represent a milestone achievement and a clear demonstration of the Commission's renewed commitment to inclusive sports growth and excellence. Speaking on the long-standing challenges faced by aquatic sports in the country, Chamberlain emphasized that inadequate facilities had previously limited athletic preparations and participation. He added that NSC's approval will enhance training environments, raise competition standards, and encourage wider involvement in swimming and related disciplines. Secretary of the Federation, Taiwo Oris, also described the initiative as a catalyst for long-term development. And that will be all on our Global News Update. Thank you for joining us. Do stay with us for more updates. I am Beetv Johanna.